Good day. I hope everyone is doing great today, November 12th. So, today, I want to discuss the topic of sacrifice. Yesterday was November 11th, and as it is now here in the United States, it's Veterans Day, or in Europe as Armistice Day, in celebration of the end of the Great War, in the First World War in 1918, unless I'm wrong. No, it's like 1940 to 1918. But anyway, I just want to go on a quick tangent over here on the reason why I wanted to discuss sacrifice. Yesterday, I was just on my Twitter, and I saw a tweet of the King of Morocco during his attendance of the ceremony of Armistice Day in Paris, France, yesterday, November 11th. The gentleman, he was sitting in the first row, right next to the wife of the President Trump, Melania Trump, and right next to a number of other world leaders, including the Canadian president, the Israeli president, I believe Putin was in there as well. Anyway, a great number of leaders that were present during the ceremony, and he was right in the middle, in the center of the most prized real estate during the whole ceremony. And the gentleman, he just fell asleep during the ceremony itself. So that made me think the value of sacrifice, or the value that sacrifice makes you perceive of the items or the resources that you acquire through that sacrifice. I think it is a very well perceived pattern where people who don't make a sacrifice during the acquisition of certain resources during their life, they don't tend to appreciate that resource in the first place. An example that I like to make a lot of times is that a student or students will go through their day and spend their time focusing on working really hard to acquire certain knowledge. They tend to appreciate that knowledge itself more than people who cheat their way during their studies. The students who focus and spend hours and hours and hours trying to solve a problem, know how to solve the problem, they tend to appreciate that knowledge and the values that they acquired from that knowledge, from being able to solve bigger problems in the future, more than a student or students who try to find a pre-written solution of the problem that's going to help them to acquire the knowledge on how to solve the problem in the first place. Those students, they will not appreciate that knowledge itself. They will just read it. It's like, oh, it's like some trivia information. It's like, oh, that's cool. And once they face the same problem again, they go back and find that solution again where they found it in the first place. So there is like some underappreciation of that knowledge that they did not acquire through sacrifice. They always assume they have this path that they can follow, or this way how they can acquire the knowledge without making a sacrifice again. So people who make a sacrifice, they tend to appreciate the items or the resources they acquired through that sacrifice. So which makes sacrifice a pretty important step for you to acquire the resource and preserve it. So if you don't make a sacrifice, your chance to fight to preserve that resource will be very small, because you will not appreciate that resource. So like the saying that goes, easy come, easy go. You hear like in songs, you hear like people talk about money and whatnot, because it is very true. If you don't make your sacrifice, if you don't feel the pain of paying the price to acquire the good, you will not appreciate the good. I remember like a long time ago, I think, some podcasts, it was talking about this value, like this financial transactions. I think the topic was mostly about the perceived that value is just a perceived thing, it's not an actual thing. So you had this guy who was trying to get rid of a couch. So he put it in front of his front porch or whatever it is, like in front of his house, and he put a piece of paper on it and saying it's free. It was stuck there for over a month. Nobody came by and picked it up. So then he said like, okay, let me just change that. So he changed the piece of paper and from free to say $15. And the next day, or I think like within hours, like 1 hour or two, like someone came and knocked on their door and asked him like, I would like to buy the couch for $15. People value things more when they sacrifice for it, when they do like some kind of transaction, either like monetary transaction, time transaction, sweat, blood. I know it's a bit late, but I just want to thank everyone who watches this time. I appreciate the time that you spend on watching this video, and also I appreciate you appreciating the value of sacrifice. There is, I have to say, it's kind of hard in these time and days to find people who appreciate what sacrifice is. Like most people just tend to whine about having to make a sacrifice. So next time you're going to make a sacrifice, be grateful you're making the sacrifice and appreciate even more the things that you are making the sacrifice for. Have a blessed day.